Next up on the number one tee.
Well, hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori and I am your host. And we got a thing today because we have yet to have a junior golfer on the podcast. And it only seemed fitting to have the number one female, the ranked golfer in Arizona, junior golfer on. Hi, Gracie McGovern.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me here.
Oh my gosh, what a pleasure. I'm just going to tell you to go a little bit closer to the mic. Mm-hmm. But hi, you are an absolute stud.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, we were supposed to, Thursday, was the 4-ball qualifier, the USGA 4-ball qualifier. And Tara Bateman and I were scheduled to try and qualify yesterday. Tara hurt her ankle earlier in July and has not been golfing whatsoever. And it was probably 3 or 4 days before the qualifier. She texted me and she's like, listen, it's not good. So it's like, you know what? It's okay. We'll do it again next year. But the unfortunate thing about that, the real unfortunate thing about that was that I was going to be paired with Gracie. Gracie, what was your partner's name?
Bryn Court.
So we were going to be paired with Gracie and Bryn. And I said, okay, let's do a podcast the day after. And we'll be able to play together and then we'll be able to pod about it after. And so, we still kept this on and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, me too.
But Gracie, why don't you tell them what happened yesterday? Tell the listeners what happened yesterday.
Okay, well, my partner and I, we shot 7 under and we won the 4-ball qualifier together. And now we're going to be heading to San Antonio. But it was like the perfect ham and egg. Because I would make all the putts and then she would we both made a bunch of birdies out there, no bogeys, but we both kind of ham and egged it. And then she would always hit the pin, chipping. And then I would make putts and it was
4 times.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. So, and it was at Moon Valley Country Club. Mm-hmm. How do you like that course?
It was in good shape.
It was?
Yeah. When we were playing our practice round on Saturday and Sunday, we were like, oh, the greens are a little slow. But then I had a friend tell me that they're going to speed them up. And they did a little bit, but the course was in good shape.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
We also have your dad, Sean McGovern, here. Hi, Sean.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure. And you were on the bag yesterday.
I was. Yep. I've been on the bag almost anytime I can.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's a regular thing.
Yeah.
And how does that work out, Gracie?
It's
Well, we bicker sometimes, but we get along out there.
Yeah?
We're a good team.
yeah. I've kind of know her game.
Well, from your point of view, how was the round yesterday?
Actually, Gracie putted really well. Ball striking was good. And then when she did miss a green, her partner was there.
Yeah.
So like she said, it's just a ham and egg. Gracie had 4 birdies, Bryn had 3, and neither of them made a bogey. And that's about as bad a round they could have shot. They were never in trouble of making a bogey.
Yeah. And 7 under, did you think it would take 7 under? Or did you think, sometimes the 4-ball qualifier can go all the way to 62, 63. So did you have a number in mind going into yesterday?
I was thinking 6 under. Yeah, I know you were thinking more
9.
You're thinking 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking a birdie every 3 holes, that would be pretty good. And
Yeah.
we did a little better than that. So yeah.
Tell everybody where you finished though. You guys were low. Right?
Yeah, 7.
So who was next?
Oh,
4 under was
4. Yeah.
They had a 3-way playoff at 4 under.
So not so close on that 9 prediction.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but he was just wanted a little bit of a cushion, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a recurring theme, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were 2 under going to the back 9 and we were tied for the lead and that we were both Bryn and I to ourselves, we were kind of like, okay, we need to step it up a little bit. And then we just birdie after birdie. We were on a roll. So
It's been a while since I've played Moon Valley. We got Adam here. Hi, Adam.
Oh, yeah, he's here too.
Tara, again, was supposed to be here. She again had to cancel last minute, but Adam was willing and able to step in, which made sense. Adam, you want to tell your side of the story with Gracie?
Yeah, I guess I'm an inverse adopted parent.
It's great, by the way, seeing Adam here. I'm almost getting choked up because he's part of Gracie's little following fan club. He's probably known Gracie since she was 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.
He's watched her grow up and he's been a big part of our team, actually. So good to see you, bud. Good to
Yeah,
see
I
you.
would like to have been bigger and better and more involved, but
Yeah, the journey's still going.
journey's still going. So maybe there's some areas for me to help do some things. But tell everybody, because here's some other big news. Let's tell everybody where you're going next year.
TCU.
That's right.
Go Frogs. Yeah.
It's going to be a horned frog.
A horned frog, yeah.
And how about your playing partner? Where's she at? Where's she going?
She hasn't committed yet.
But she's going into her last year, or she just finished?
She's a junior.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's got a minute.
Yeah,
She's actually at Ole Miss
right now.
touring.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's brag some more about you. How many USGAs is this now?
I was just, I think 5,
No,
4 or 5.
I don't, man.
Okay, so
You're
this
not
is-
losing count.
You've got
maybe one day.
this
is my
first place in the last 2. You've got
yeah,
so you have 2 silver medals from the last 5
right.
months, which
This is
pretty
my
cool.
4th USGA event, and then the very first time I tried for the 4 ball, I shot 8 under on my own ball, and we qualified. But then because of COVID, we couldn't go.
COVID popped up.
Technically, this could have been 6, right?
I'm so bad at math.
Well, that's okay because we're gonna go back to the beginning and maybe we'll be able to round them up as we tell the story. But a little bit about Adam and how your name came up. When I first met Adam a couple years ago, I think the second time I met him or saw him was at Biltmore, right? And wasn't there a tournament going on? Or that's when you brought up Gracie's name and you were like, you need to follow Gracie. She's one of the best players in the state.
Yeah, there probably was actually, but ironically enough, this was where I was playing. Were you in that tournament with Bo? Was that me, you, Bo? Or was that just me and Bo?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, Bo is her sister.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So we'll get to Bo, but yeah, that was basically, I was playing with her sister Bo in a school fundraiser thing that they had at the Biltmore.
That's right.
But that's how basically when her and I started, I said, yeah, you need to follow this kid.
Yeah, I was playing on the other course opposite of the tournament. And so it seems like from day one, Adam's been singing your praises. So
it's taken too long. And obviously yesterday got screwed up, but hopefully we'll get you guys playing somewhere together.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let's start at the beginning because, I mean, to now be a senior in high school, looking to go play college golf and be the #1 ranked junior golfer in the state. What the heck does that take? How'd this start?
lots of practice and dedication.
Yeah.
Hours and hours.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
A lot of early bribing. When she was 4, I would have a big bag of gummy worms, and every time she hit a good shot, she'd get one, and that's, she was getting she was getting that muscle memory, but she didn't realize, it was trickery.
Yeah, but it did start when she was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And why golf?
Because, to be honest, I was not making any money, and I was, a single dad, and I was like, how am I going to get this kid to college? I'm thinking 10 years down the road. I've been a golf bum my whole life. So I was thinking I can teach her. Yeah, I can, if she falls in love with it, I can teach her. It could be a part of our life. And boy, she took to it. And I knew by the time she was even 5 to 6, like there was something there.
Yeah. And to a certain degree too, the parent has to love the sport and be engaged with the sport just as much as a child. So it's like you already loved it. So I kind of get that.
Yeah, thank goodness I wasn't into bass fishing or anything.
Yeah.
She might have been a professional bass fisher, but
and you know what? We would have celebrated that too.
yeah, right.
But it takes so much work on both sides as the parent and the child. So
Yeah,
I commend you for getting out there and just starting early and sticking with it.
Yeah. And I'm super grateful for him because there's days where I'm like, oh, I don't really, want to give it 100%, but he pushes me to be the best I can.
Yeah.
She's to the age now, though, obviously, where wherever she goes from here, it's up to her. I've done all I can do, basically. And we got our D1 scholarship, and we feel good about that. And whatever she does with golf from here on out, it's just icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
So you knew at 5 that, okay, wait a minute, this might work. I know you don't remember back at 5, but when did you feel like, hey, this was something I could do?
I've always loved golf. And then I kind of got a little burnt out when I was about 12. Then I got a wrist injury that took me out of golf for
year and 4 months.
Yeah.
Didn't touch a club.
like a year.
Wow.
And a half.
That's a huge break. And crimes.
It was a scary period too.
Mm-hmm. But I think that was the perfect time because then I got right back into it because I missed golf so much. I was like, I need to be on the golf course. Mm-hmm. So yeah, after that. And then I've just been even more dedicated since then.
So what does it take from such a young age, from 4 all the way to 10? What does it take? And then starting to go into those
I think our situation was very unique. because like I said, I was a single dad. I basically had no life. My job was to raise her. And we basically spent every day at the golf course. I mean, she had easily, by the time she was 11, she had 10,000 hours. You know, they'd say the 10,000 hours. I mean, I would keep track of how many range balls we'd hit. And that was
I'd be at the course for like 7 hours.
That's
but because I also wanted to be there too. It's just
I mean, but early on, it was something, you know, it wasn't work. We tried to make it fun. You know, there was always, I remember I went to an auction once and I bought probably $300 worth of Beanie Babies, brand new, still in the wrappers for like $70. I brought them home and I put them all up on the wall and she just would stare at them in awe. And I want that drag. And I go, well, look, here's the deal. You make 100 putts here and you can pick any one you want. And then pretty soon it was just like, that's her job was to clean that whole shelf out. And she did.
I had a very similar bribing situation as a kid. My mom would say, okay, you hit the ball. I was a tennis player. She goes, go outside, hit the ball against the garage. If you can do it 100 times, then I would get a prize too. So it's the same thing. Really, I mean, it's the same. It's like just getting us to get out there and get the reps in.
Exactly. I am a real estate agent, but I would go to my open houses and I'd tag her along and I'd set up her putting mat and she'd putt during my open houses. People come in and look at the house and she's 5, 6, 7-year-old and she's just sitting there putting and putting and putting. So
I vividly remember that.
Yeah. It was.
What do junior tournaments look like when you're under 12 years old, or is that 10 years old? Like, are you wearing
kids?
Yeah. Are you playing 18 holes?
You play 9 until I think you're 10. Yeah. Right? And then US Kids goes to 18.
Mm-hmm.
But talk a little bit about the atmosphere and the competition, though.
Fire up some stories.
No, you go.
Well, I mean, it was
pretty competitive.
What are you trying?
Gracie started off her first competitive round ever I put her in. You know, I called up Dale Belvin at US Kids and I said, you know, I think my daughter's playing pretty good golf. She'd never even played 9 holes of golf.
Yeah.
First US Kids tournament, talking stick. I put her in fire by baptism. She went out there. She shot 40 and won by 14 shots. And everybody's like, who's this kid? And she showed up in a t-shirt, you know, no golf clothing yet. Everybody was kind of looking at her like, who's this kid? And
wait, and what age was that? Sorry.
6 years old.
6. Oh my God.
6 years old. And then she proceeded to literally for the next 2.5, she never lost a local event almost for 3 years.
Wow.
So, and then she won her.
Lots of blue ribbon medals.
Yeah.
So that 40 was for 9 holes.
9 holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so folks, do the math. That's 6 years old, 40, shoot 9.
And never playing.
I mean, I shot 40 like 2 days ago.
Let's keep that perspective. Huh?
6 years old. Unbelievable.
And I would kind of like keep track of the scores. I was following all the girls across the nation and the country because, you know, it was new to me too, US Kids. And I thought, man, her scores are right up with these girls that are winning all these big events. So, you know, her first big event was the Junior TaylorMade World Masters in Vegas. And the girl who had just won IMG, which is a big event.
Oh, yeah.
Pim Pom Chu from Thailand.
Wait.
So
We think that's how you say it.
So she wins. She just easily wins. Second place is 14 shots away. And she plays the very next tournament in Vegas. And all the parents are like, that's the number one girl in the world right there. And I'm just kind of thinking to myself, well, I can't wait to see how Gracie does against her.
Yeah.
Gracie beats her. And then she wins the US Kids World Championship in Pinehurst 2 weeks later after that.
And sorry, how old are you then?
8.
8.
Yeah.
And at 8 years old, do you really know, like, can you really embrace winning? Yeah. Or is it like just so fearless and just like, that's what I just
It's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. It's actually the parents are really way more competitive.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you'll sometimes get a few kids that are like, you know, really into it. But I remember you told the story before of when you were like Gracie.
After he won? I just called my Uncle Jack in Idaho, who's a big fan of Gracie's, and I was literally crying. I was like, man, we got the number one player in the world right now. And I turn off the phone and Gracie looks at me and she's like, Dad, it's not like I just won the US Open. Why are you crying?
Very nonchalant.
She was just so casual. But yeah.
So, and at a young age, and maybe this is even through high school too, do you have caddies? I thought when you're young, there's no caddies.
It's actually opposite. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to caddy in US Kids.
Okay.
The parents are required, or not the parent, or a caddy. I mean, Adam's filled in a couple of times for Gracie, and then you get to the certain USG, like the junior AM, a relative can't caddy. But for the US AM, you can, so.
Right. But like the tournaments like AJGA and JGAs that I mostly play in, you can't have a caddy.
Okay, that might be what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Which starts around 12, 13. Yeah.
So fast forward to when you hurt your wrist. Was that just from repetitions? What was that really from?
We're like unsure, but we're pretty sure it was from like hitting off mats and stuff. Like lots of mat hitting.
All mat hitting, yeah. I believe it 100%.
And I remember when I first started like feeling the pain was when we were at like PGA Tour Superstore and I was just hitting, like digging into the bats. And I was like, oh, kind of hurts.
That probably was PGA's fault. I mean, think about how much you were going at that time there.
Yeah.
Because it was just severe tendonitis. You never broke or tore anything. Right?
No.
Oh, wait, no, actually, hold on. So I broke both wrists. My first wrist, I think it was my right wrist. I broke the trapezoid bone, which is like this little bone in the wrist. And then I was casted for a year.
Yeah.
And then, well, like 8-9 months, something like that. And then I strained a tendon in my left
That
wrist.
was a scary one because
Yeah,
we
that
went
was
to
scary.
doctors that were saying you need surgery. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Yeah. And then I started doing acupuncture. And that like really
We have a
that's like
secret weapon.
Yeah.
Dr. Jing. She worked on Muhammad Ali forever, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
So we're close friends with her and she's hard to get into, but she told me, she said, I can fix Gracie. And I was very skeptical, you know. So
And look at that.
And wow, it was a miracle, really.
How was it getting back on the course then? How long did it take to really feel like you were back?
not long.
Not long?
Not long.
Wow.
I remember like my very first shot.
I videoed it.
Yeah,
You worm burned your driver. It
yeah,
was the very
yeah.
first one.
But I made contact.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some of these big national tournaments that you've qualified for. Okay, because I've seen you, I think the first one was like the women's AM at Chambers Bay.
No, junior AM.
Okay.
That was my first one.
In Maryland.
That one in Maryland. Yeah.
And how old were you then?
15.
Yeah. 15.
15.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tell me about qualifying.
I honestly, I don't even like remember qualifying that much. I just remember my
You shot
experience.
68
Okay.
and won the qualifier.
Okay.
It was Black Rock or something.
Oh, yeah.
Black
that's
Rock
right.
up in like Peoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, that tournament was fun.
I remember every shot
But-
she's hit since she was 4.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad you're here, Sean.
Exactly.
How was that experience? So your first USGA event?
I loved it. Yeah, I was like, oh, I have to like keep doing these because like we go into the locker room and there's like snacks galore and they just treated you so nicely there, like the best. And then
And then it was the women's AM after that, right?
yep, yeah, at Chambers.
At Chambers Bay.
hmm
How was that?
And then
course?
that was like really tough. Yeah,
Let's stop.
I did not like going into that tournament. My game was so bad too. So I just like was not ready and my distance was not there. And I think you've played Chambers, right?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay,
We'll
but-
get there one day. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it on TV. It does not look easy.
No, it was not. And it was hilly. Like
for,
all the
for
USGA.
a old caddy, it was hard to.
Yeah, I swear all the USGA tournaments that you played, they're all super hilly. But this one was playing like pretty far and it was so windy. So yeah, I was just not ready. I'd be hitting in like a 5 wood when these girls would be hitting an 8 iron or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, ooh.
Well, tell me about that. Tell me about what you're feeling. How, like, are you nervous?
No.
That to me seems like the first really big, I want to say grown up tournament. I don't know. I mean, the women's AM is a big freaking deal.
Yeah. I wasn't really nervous because I had like known people there. So I was kind of like comfortable. And then it was just
Played
like,
in a few mini tour events before that.
right.
Too. I mean,
Yeah. So I
the
wasn't.
girl that won the British Open, he played she was in the field.
Yeah.
So
So I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is so scary.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't that nervous. But I just knew I was like not ready
Yeah.
just by like the practice round. And I was like, ooh. So it's not the best mindset going into
Well,
the tournament.
exactly. And
I
if that's if that's her mindset, and you probably know that going in,
Actually,
that's her mindset.
that I didn't because we had a crazy schedule. So I was in Pinehurst caddying for Bo,
Mm-hmm.
who was in her world championships. I had to catch the flight immediately right there. I missed her practice round. So I get to Chambers Bay and it's just whatever she prepared for was what we were prepared for. I didn't know the course. So we just, went out and tried to have fun. And
But that was 16-ish?
Yeah.
yeah,
So what age were you when you played your first professional event?
15, I think. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And how'd that happen?
It was right when COVID hit and there was nothing going on except the Cactus Tour. I mean, you could literally bet on it in Vegas. So
Yeah.
And so I put her in a tournament there up at Fountain Hills. And there's, Mina Harrigy. She was in, she was really doing well at that time. But so she's playing against, and we had to withdraw because that's when your hand. That's, she played pretty good. She shot like 1 over. or even you were right in the top 5 or 6. And then she was crying. We got off the green and I'm like, oh, it'll get better. And I could tell she was actually
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, come on, be tough. And she was actually in a lot of pain, so we had to withdraw out of that. But good experiences. She's played in the
second one went a little bit better.
My Cactus Tour event.
Or was it Cactus? What was the one at Arizona Open?
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh yeah. So I played, my first Cactus Tour event, and then that one, and then I continued to play Cactus Tour events for a little bit, and then just kind of stopped, and then we started playing AJGAs and more JGAs. But then my first actual tour event was when I played in the Mizuho
this summer.
This summer. Yeah. So. And
I saw that on TV, didn't we?
Yeah.
Rose Zhang's first tour event too was your first tour event.
That was really fun.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. How was that?
That was really okay. Well, it was really fun. It was really fun, and it was like a whole new experience. And I don't know what happened, but I started doing this thing in my swing where I couldn't even take it to the I couldn't even swing.
Yeah, like a little yip situation.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Back, yeah.
I'd go up to the top and then I'd stop and I'd freeze and then I'd have to restart.
And at what time did this happen exactly? Round 1,
first round was it or
no? It was the first round with the pros, so the third round.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but that was really scary.
It was very strange.
And then I dealt with that for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And now it's getting better. But
do you work with someone, or is it just kind of?
I just figured it out on my own.
Yeah.
And but back to the Mizuho tournament. I got paired with Charlie Hull and Leona McGuire my last round.
A cool pairing, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so grateful for that round and just meeting them. They're the coolest people.
What'd you learn from them? Watching them.
They're very she's very relaxed out there.
Yeah.
But she was vaping and she had her phone out.
She was?
Yeah. And I was
and she had her phone out?
You asked her too, right?
Yeah. I was do they get mad at you for having your phone out? And she's like, oh no, they don't care. And she's like, golf gets boring sometimes. And I was like, that's so funny.
I know. It's so cool for me too, because they stay in touch.
Yeah.
So I'm Charlie Hull, who just about won the Open at Pebble Beach, and she got second in another major, and I see where she messages Gracie right after that. She's like, man, Gracie, I still can't believe that flop shot you hit on 3. I'm thinking, this is so cool. You have Charlie Hull,
that is
messaging you about a crazy flop shot she hit.
And Leona's amazing too. She can, you can just tell both those girls are always just so hardworking and dedicated. And that was really inspiring. So, yeah.
And they were so nice to you. Oh, the other 2 girls weren't.
I know. Yeah. I don't want to say names, but yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
This is the forum for that.
Exactly. So, okay. When was that? That was this summer. Okay. How about going into Bel Air Country Club, the Women's Am this year?
That I was so excited for
to meet Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I wish.
And I can understand that too.
Yeah. So I'd just come from the PGA Championship, junior PGA Championship from Arkansas. And honestly, after the last day of that or whatever, I was so done. It was so hot and I was just exhausted. I did tons of walking and I was getting really bad blisters on my feet. And then when I was at the Women's Am, I was playing my practice round. I was literally playing with no shoes. Yeah. Just in my socks. Yeah. My feet hurt so bad. And those have got to be some of the nicest fairways I've ever walked.
If you're going to be barefoot on a golf course, that's the course.
It's such a bougie place. And I told Grace, I guarantee you're the only person they've ever played Bel Air Country Club in your socks.
Yeah. I was
going down the fairway playing literally at the US Am in her socks.
Yeah.
Remind everybody how we did there.
Made it to the match play. And
25th coming out of the stroke play.
Yeah. And then didn't do good my first round of match play. But
we haven't got over that hurdle yet.
I know.
That was ugly. I was trying to get us to focus on the play.
Yeah, man.
But that's incredible. I actually was at the US Senior Am this morning and I was a starter and Sue Wooster was playing her practice round. So she came through and I said, okay, what was the best tournament of the summer? Because she has been all over the summer, Sue Wooster. I don't know if you know who that is.
I know that name.
So she was at Bel Air and she said, hands down, Bel Air Country Club.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
And she said the exact same thing you did. She goes, the fairways were like Augusta.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything.
So we've done drive, chip, and putt. We've done World Juniors. We've done Arizona Women's Opens. We've done JGGA, AJGA, college this, college that, right? Juniors this, US Kids that. What's USGA's? What's your most memorable tournament? Not just necessarily how you played, but the one that stuck out like, wow, this is really cool. I mean, Mizuho, obviously. We got a professional event in there too.
Duho.
How about Sean? Do you have one too? Do you have one that was most memorable?
I need to think. I
think. Well, I was here watching TV when my phone was blowing up. I just saw Gracie. She had a couple nice highlights on there, so that was really cool. But for personally, I would say
crowning achievement.
Notable Gay was
I think the Notable Gay Championship, because I was caddying with Bo, and Grace was just on her own. Didn't even talk to her at the practice. Didn't even play a practice round with her. I just let her go. She did her thing, and 10 under, 1, and that was huge. We got to go back and defend her title this year.
But
So you're putting the resume together. The first thing you're putting up there is that one.
Yeah, probably. But that's it's a win. But I didn't play very good. I played in the Polo Invitational, and I got to play Bethpage Black, and that has got to be one of the toughest golf courses I've ever played. And just being able to and during that tournament, I was doing my my little yip thing.
That's when
Your Barkley move.
Yeah. No, it's actually worse because she doesn't take the club back. So it's kind of like
I haven't seen this.
No, it's gone forever. I hope. Remember Kevin Na? How he was going through that and he just couldn't pull the trigger, and they were.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, they shouldn't even talk.
I know we shouldn't.
You didn't try the electric shock therapy?
No, what I did is practice. I lined up 8 balls and I said, "Step up there." We used to do this drill. You just walk up and you're not even thinking. You just swing, 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 and just hit. Stop thinking, just feel it, and then
that helped. But it was also just something that I mentally got over, and just But back to Bethpage Black, that course was really tough, and it was a match play event, the Polo Invitational. I didn't play very good in it, but I'm hoping I get invited back, and I'm gonna play in it.
That's the hardest course I've ever seen her play.
Really?
Yeah, but it was just it was great experience, just testing your whole game.
Yeah.
You can't describe the course unless you've played it. I mean, you've seen it when
It's a ball buster. How long were you playing it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Because that thing can get stretched back pretty
68 and change. Yeah. Because there was no roll, all uphill into the wind.
Playing. I think it did play 68, but it felt like it was playing 7,000.
I mean, I do know in her practice round, and she's not super long, but she's not short. She hit 3 irons and 18 holes into the greens, and
that's frustrating.
Two 5 irons and a 6 iron.
Oh,
and that's how long that course plays.
Well, let's tell the people about what is your driving average right now.
I say average 250.
Okay,
but
somebody who's a little longer than that.
Oh my God! So, but that's a good question though. What's the yardage you're normally playing at right now?
Right now, about 64.
Yeah.
400.
The Epson event you played in this summer,
it kind of depends.
It got up around 67. The pros are longer.
Yeah. How long has it been around 6,500 that you've been playing?
Once you get into AJGA, it goes right to 62.
So like 12.
And I'd say the USG, the junior am, I guess it was playing maybe 63, but since it was so hilly and elevated, it was playing longer.
Sometimes on paper, they're not playing what they say.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk. Sorry.
I just want to give, because I think this helps.
Yes.
The listeners, you're 17 now. You're hitting about 250.
Yeah.
But you didn't hit your growth spurt until 14, 15? I mean, you're a tiny kid for a long time. Length was the thing.
Yeah.
So how long have you been hitting it 240 to 250?
I'd say about year, 2 years.
I mean, we're still working on speed right now.
All the time. I mean, but right now it's an okay drive is 250. But then I can hit it out there to 270. Yeah.
Oh, I think an okay is about 235. If you get it out there 250, we're doing somersaults.
But that's only for the last 2 years-ish.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm trying to point out to people listening is that you look at what all these things you accomplished, and you've only been hitting it 230 plus for 2 years.
Yeah.
So yes, distance
Especially
matters.
like my Cactus Tour events.
Exactly.
I was only hitting like 230.
230.
Yeah.
So, it can be done.
Got to button down that short game.
You got to button down the short game, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So again, perspective. That's all.
Yeah. And I just started for my qualifier, I just started doing aim point. And I feel like that it helps like maybe
Somebody here is not a fan of that. We actually
It's a touchy subject.
We actually tried to get
No,
a
it's-
letter to the USGA to get a 2-stroke penalty for anybody who aimed.
I know.
Try to put
Listen, I'm sure
petition.
Gracie is very quick with her aim pointing.
She really is
I
a
actually
quick aim
am.
pointer.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you guys. It wasn't my idea.
It's just sometimes can get out of control.
and I
absolutely.
And I
I've played against girls and I'm like,
Yeah, 3 minutes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
she's actually, I got to give aim point props a little bit
Yeah.
right now because for her, it's helping.
Okay, so let's talk about more training practice, and we'll start with the speed aspect. So how are you guys training to get more speed right now? Because you said it's still an ongoing process. What's the goal? How often are you working at it? Are you going into the gym? Are you using aids?
I have a trainer.
Yep. Shout out to Adam. And,
Yeah. At Golf Stretch.
Golf Stretch.
Yeah.
He's our
Yeah. I
guy.
was just like 45 minutes ago. I was just there.
Yeah.
Yep.
How
And
often are you seeing Adam?
Probably 2 times a week.
Mhm.
Yeah. But sometimes we'll so he also trains Dylan Wu and Cameron Sisk.
Mm-hmm.
So, but sometimes he'll go to their events and, we're kind of out of town. So I don't always see him. It's not always 2 times a week, every week, but we try to.
Yeah.
Dylan Wu, by the way, I have to say, is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. If you're going to root for anybody on the PGA Tour, Dylan Wu is...
You got to woo for Will.
you got to root for Wu. He is a nice, very nice guy.
So when did you start going to the gym and really working on?
I'd say about 1.5 years. I've been with Adam about 1.5 years.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes.
You do.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fun.
And so
that's
you had,
staying stretch focused.
Wait, what?
Stretch focused.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
is, I think.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily speed and weights and things
It's
like that.
it is speed and weights, but we also do stretching and that
a lot
kind
of
of stuff.
mobility.
Yeah.
He was a long drive guy,
all
wasn't he?
of it.
So he did long drive competition. So he understands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows what it takes.
Yeah. So, and then let's get into training and practicing. What does your week look like? Let's go through.
Depends on the day. Depends on what tests I have. But
Yeah. So it's a light school week. There's no tournaments.
and luckily
What does your week look like? Where are you training?
now that I'm a senior, I get out at 12:30 and we go straight to Camelback where I practice. And I'll practice there usually till dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you have homework, sometimes we just,
Yeah. I like to get a little range session.
What does a range session look like? Because man, if you're practicing till dark, so let's say that's 4 to 5 hours.
Mhm.
I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored. So
yeah.
tell me about it. How are you
I
keeping your
love the
attention?
range though.
Too.
Yeah, I'm the type of person that could just grind on the range. And I think that's because
you and Ben Hogan, there you go.
Wow.
because I've been doing it since I was 7.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it and I like it. And it's just
So how does it transition though? How are you going to practice your short game a little bit? Are you kind of moving in a circle?
depends on the day. I know how some people are like I do short game and then I go to the range, then I go play. I'm kind of just all over.
Yeah.
Which, yeah. But sometimes I'll putt for 2 hours and it's really important to practice your chipping. So I've learned that. So and I still need to work on my chipping a lot. So I'll work on my chipping and then I'll go on the range and I like to go play a quick 9. So I'll just grab a cart and just go play a quick 9.
Yeah.
So
I mean, a lot of really good players are playing 9. They're incorporating that into their practice routine.
So
what are you doing out there when you're playing those 9 holes? Anything specific, or you're just are you working on something? Are you just seeing how it's coming together?
yeah, usually just seeing how it's coming together. But it kind of depends on the day. If I'm working on something, I'll go out there. Sometimes we'll just go out to a hole and just throw balls around the green and just work on my chipping and up and downs from there.
That's the best
Mhm.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on with your chipping? Why do you need to work on your chipping a lot?
It's important. It's really important. You miss a green, you got to chip it close to get up and down and save for par. So, yeah. But
Sean, what would you say about Gracie's game right now? That is, what's going really well? What could...
She's actually, I've always been a big critic of her putting. I've always thought she was a very average putter. I always said if she ever gets her putting married up with her ball striking, she's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say, sis, you're becoming a pretty good putter now. I mean,
After all those open house range sessions.
no, that didn't help though.
sessions.
I think it's just it's something mental. You just want to
Maturing too.
Yeah, I mean, you understand the importance of speed. I think more than break, and right now she's shaping up to be a pretty good putter. If she can get another 10 yards off the tee, then it's going to be a big deal. I mean,
and let's say she does get 10 yards off the tee. She gets another 10 yards off the tee. What does that look like compared to her competitors?
It's going to make a big difference because like we play against girls, believe it or not, that are well north of 300 yards a lot of times.
Well north of 300 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these girls are coming into par fives with 6 irons and
Wow.
5 irons. And
How does that not make a difference? How does that not make a
Oh,
difference?
completely does. Yeah.
Of course that does. Who have you played with hitting north of 3?
Several girls.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'm throwing the flag on
No,
that.
no,
There's this
absolutely.
one girl from North Carolina who can like consistently hit it like at least 290.
What is she, 6'2"?
But these girls,
She's pretty tall, but
none of these girls have beat her. These have all been at the US AMs or the Junior AMs
yeah.
and
I
played
love
them
it.
several times. But yeah,
So then what's the difference?
Yeah, come back to the difference.
What's the difference between these girls? A lot of these girls are hitting it bombs away.
yeah,
Gracie's still beating them. What's the difference?
My irons.
she's really good with her irons.
Yeah.
I got
A good day, I'm like right on the pin. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was playing in Arkansas, this is kind of funny. I was playing with these girls. I didn't know them, so this was my first time playing with them. And my irons were really good that day. Like every shot would be like, I don't know, like 10 feet from the hole or closer. I just couldn't make anything. But the girls would be like, if I can't even see your ball, I'll just look by the pin and I'll find it. So it's like right there.
So it's always been a strong suit.
Yeah.
So are we still keeping stats? Do we have an average of how many greens we're hitting?
I don't really anymore. I mean,
keep stats
she keeps stats.
Yeah, not really when I'm playing though.
We should though. Adam, you're right. That's important.
Well, I'd just be
Sometimes
curious.
sometimes I just get a little like,
Listen, if she's hitting 18 greens all the time, then there you go. Why take stats?
Well, there's been many times, I'm going to not say many, but there's a lot of times where she'll hit 15 to 16, 17, even 18 greens and
yeah.
she'll shoot 1 under.
Yeah.
And you go back and you look, oof, so what's
a
it's our
lot of
putting?
putts.
Yeah.
It's always putting. Adam knows that. It's always putting.
Well, I disagree with him on that one. I'll come back to that. But we know his assessment, right? He thinks that the next thing for you to getting that next level and that next tier was putting, and he says you're close and you're on your way. What do you think it is?
I think the same thing too. I think better short game.
Better short game.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily putting.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. Chipping and putting and
50 and in. That's
my
your weak spot.
My 4-ball qualifier. This is so embarrassing. I had like a 67-yard shot. And
Like yesterday?
Yeah.
I'm talking yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then have a
And-
70-foot putt.
yeah.
So,
Nice.
no.
Nice.
I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened? So yeah, it was so weird. So I was practicing like my 76-yard shots for a while, like 50. I was getting really good at it. And then I don't know what happened. Now I'm just kind of like,
lost the touch a little bit.
but yeah, but we'll get back.
Yeah, just got to flight them down a little better. And,
Well, that's what I thought it was. I
Yeah.
mean, your irons have always been good.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've been critical of the putting, but I've never seen you putt bad. What I think it has been proximity. Like you can't expect to make 15, 18
No,
fours all day.
right.
You're going to make one
I
out of
agree.
5.
I agree with that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On a bad day, well, like my irons are still good, but I feel like that I could you could always get better, but I could always get better with like my dispersion, kind of getting them closer to the pin. Like a bad shot is like still pretty close.
it's speed control, though. I mean, don't you think?
Oh yeah, with my putting.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm
because when I'm caddying for you, those times where it's a lightning fast putt, and if I don't really say, let's watch our speed here, be a little defensive. Sometimes you don't realize it. I think.
Yeah, or a putt that's like flat, and then there's like a little like bump in the middle of the putt, and then I really can't judge that bump.
That's tough. Yeah, well, putting's tough.
Putting stuff. Okay, so before we get into the college search, which you guys just went through and made your decision,
Yeah.
let's talk about equipment. How important has equipment been to you? When did it become important? What are you using now?
Tell
Ping.
her about how that all happened.
Yeah, I had just won the Heather Farr, and then Ping.
Kim.
Yeah, Kim.
Kim Perez.
Yeah, she brought me up to Ping, and then I got fitted for like my first Ping set.
She's on basically the tour staff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That was
And how long ago did that happen?
6
months ago.
6
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been using them and have loved them ever since.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're good to us.
And True Spec. We've used True Spec in the past, and that's where I've gotten like my other irons.
Yeah.
And they've just fitted me.
Yeah.
Didn't Ping bring in bow first though?
I don't know what that was.
That was a while.
No, yeah, but they went and bought those. Yeah. It's so much nicer when they say, hey,
It's a little bit nice.
you're on our staff and whatever you need.
Yeah. And they took
So
care of you.
I've everything.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the Horned Frogs contracted with though? Did they got anybody?
Well, they don't really care. What like
No, they don't care what. They're like some schools,
but
they want you to
connections
play.
with Ping.
Yeah, they actually do.
Yeah, which is nice. And Ping, when I got my clubs, they were like, "Oh, like, what do you want on them? Do you like want them purple?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I got like G on my sandwiches and in purple, and everything else, like the 9 on the 9 iron is like purple, and then the grooves on the driver.
And we're still working out. I mean, her first literal round, competitive round, she shot 6 under at the women's AM.
Yeah.
That was with
That
her
was having
first time
them
with
for,
her
like-
pings.
Wow.
But when she picked her pings, she could have went with the irons too, where she had literally 10 more yards carry in the air. And she went with the ones that she liked the feel better. And we've kind of second guessed that a little bit. We're thinking, well, we'd like to have that 10 extra yards coming into some of these
I know,
greens.
and
So
the reason why I didn't pick those is because they would have spun a little less, I think, or something like that.
But we asked Ping to make us an 8 iron of that style. So she's going to now take them both and try them out and really figure out which one she likes the best.
Yeah.
Wow. So you got a whole new set of clubs, and then you went to the women's AM qualifier and just right out of the box.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And another thing with distance, when I went in to Ping, and then they were like, measuring my driver, which was the Stealth, and then I don't know, we might just pick that one out or something, or we
It was
like,
D7. It was really too
So
high.
but they were laughing, and they're like, and we were like, what? And they're like, it's a D7. And we're like, what does that mean? And they're like men don't even swing this club. It's so heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lot lighter. And, I can swing faster.
Well, I've had her in a hodgepodge set since she was little. I mean, I would take it out of the for sale rack at PJ Superstore
Just cut 'em.
and just cut it, So she had 5 different brands in her bag, and
Yeah. Just make it
that's
do.
the way we did it. So
All right. Let's get into the college search then. What was that like? Because I'm sure they had their eye on Gracie for a while. So,
51 D1 schools contacted me.
wow.
That was cool.
Yeah.
How does it happen? Like, what are they emailing you?
I'll tell you
Like,
exactly.
texting you?
So she was at a tournament. It's June 14th, is it? Or 15th when of your junior year, they can legally contact you. So you were playing at a tournament, the one you wanted to play in up at Desert Mountain, Southwestern Amateur. And she just shot 1 under her first round. And so the next day, I'm sitting on the range and my phone's just blowing up, It's like, you're our number 1 recruit. We want to meet with you. And that's how it started. They just start texting you. They're allowed to then text you.
So we'll go through that though, the next few steps. How do you then siphon those down from 51 to 5?
Basically.
Okay, well,
what you
we
want.
knew, like, I wanted to be
Warm
in a
weather.
warm weather climate, 'cause,
Absolutely.
it would be hard to go from like Arizona to somewhere, where
Oregon.
it's colder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so warm weather, and then one like good coaches, and then there's a good practice facility, a competitive
That was
team.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had visited Pepperdine, and then we had visited U of A.
U of A.
Yeah,
We love
U
the
of A.
coaches at U of A. Absolutely fell in love with them.
Yeah.
They were building a new facility. So that checked our boxes. Pepperdine, unfortunately, Malibu's beautiful, but their practice facility was smaller than Continental.
Oh,
Like we couldn't figure out, and they had to drive 45 minutes to go
they're-
practice through all these.
yeah,
and
no.
so
Good idea. Yeah, no.
that was ruled out right away. But
And then we were gonna go visit University of Texas.
T.
But then, we was going to go TCU and then University of Texas. But once I got to TCU, I just knew
love at first sight.
yeah, literally love at
What
first
part?
sight.
Talk about it.
Everything, like the team, the coaches, just like the location in general. And I love how the team is like a family. You know what I mean? It's not really like, teammates, whatever, but they're very connected and just like great people there.
Yeah.
Like everyone was just so nice.
Your
so
home course is
friendly. Colonial
Colonial with that
and Shady
PJ
Oaks. And then if you
Ben Hogan's backyard, Shady Oaks. I mean, to get a hit a ball under Ben Hogan's shady tree right there. I mean,
yeah.
Wow. So, but that must have been a big decision between U of A and TCU.
Yeah. It was. And going to TCU, I was like, oh no, I'm going to want to stay, and go to U of A. But once I got there, I was like, nope, TCU.
Yeah.
So that's what it came down to, those two?
Yeah.
So what's the timeline right now then?
Signing is November something, right? The official signing day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's that.
And then
Yeah.
alone.
I know, Sean. How's that gonna?
I think I'm
Gonna get a dog.
I'm gonna get a dog. Yeah.
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 So, okay, let's look into the next couple of years then, because a lot of the, is the goal to stay in college then all 4 years and then look into going pro, or?
Yeah, that's the goal, but we'll always see, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm so excited for college. I wish I was going this year. I know, yeah.
And how are you preparing for college? What are some of your big events leading up to?
Not a ton of events.
We don't play we really play a light schedule compared to all the top 50 girls in the world. I mean,
Compare that. Like what?
I mean, so she's right now in the Rolex junior ranking, she's 7th in the world. And that's based on about 6 tournaments. Most of the girls she competes against, first of all, they don't go to a traditional school, first of all. So they're homeschooled and they basically do the amateur professional tour. They go every week they're playing somewhere.
Yeah.
And then
always
traveling. And so she's just played good in the right tournaments, the very few tournaments she's had the opportunity to.
Yeah.
I mean, she was invited. She made the Solheim Cup team this year for Team USA and chose not to go, which nobody does because you can only miss so much school. I mean, she's missing a lot of schools it is. So, I mean, the girls that are ahead of her, they just basically are like professionals already. They play all the time. So,
and so obviously you've been intentional with that though.
It's always financial too. I mean, we've had a lot of help out of some nice people. Thunderbirds have been very nice. Scott McNevin has been there for us many times. And just sitting across from you guys like Adam, they've done everything they can, whether it's giving us golf balls and he's just always, he's caddied for her. He's paid for tournaments she's played in, a lot of good-hearted people that have been part of this journey.
Yeah, I mean, it is a big financial undertaking. I mean, just
golf is expensive.
Yeah, golf is expensive, but just any sport, raising any world-class athlete, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be a lot of sacrifice. It's going to be a lot of reps and time and
it is
long hours.
And there's a lot of kids, they have it a lot easier, They're big country clubs and the budget's unlimited where they can go and travel. And so,
and being able to practice at Camelback is like
it's
really,
huge. Yeah. They have a great practice facility there.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah.
Good and
golf.
no mats.
No mats, endless grass.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they let me like all the time go out, take a cart, go play 9 holes. And they're like, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's great.
So nice.
Well, Sean, looking back, what an amazing young lady you have raised.
Thank you. I mean, I just got lucky. I think definitely I've done a lot of things wrong. So, but you learn from those mistakes. And
anything that you're looking back that maybe you think, okay, I would have done that differently, or you really learned a lesson there where it might have cut back her progression?
Yeah, I think probably any parent can say this. You just put too much pressure on your kid, big time. Yeah. So once you take the fun out of it, you're just going to kind of regress from there, I think. So I tried to make it fun when she was little. And then you start getting, we were never really caught up too much about where her world rankings are and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it just so happened that she won some big tournaments and, got highly ranked and continues to. But we might not play maybe any more AJGA tournaments from here on out, because I mean, there's no reason to. She's going to college, why spend every time you go, it's $2 or $3 grand.
Yeah,
and
there's a few.
You'll defend.
Get a job. Come on.
Yeah, right. You'll defend your Heather Farr championship here because that's local. It's great when you can not have to travel. That's the killer, the traveling. But
how about this one, G? How many times did you feel that you were done? Like I don't want to do this anymore. A ballpark.
I don't know.
The thought crossed your mind.
Now, be honest, as if I'm not here even.
You can't get in trouble for your past.
I want to be like, oh, I want to quit golf.
Yeah, like I had enough of this.
I don't think so, ever.
Never, ever.
No, maybe before I broke my wrist, I was like, I was never really like, oh, I just want to quit golf. You know what I mean? Because I think I'd get like really depressed if I didn't play golf. So I get
golf nerd.
I get
as you all know, it's part of your life. It's in your blood.
And when you're used to like going to the golf course literally almost every day, like if I miss like a week or like even 3 days, I'll be like, oh, I need to get back on the golf course.
Yeah.
I miss Camelback. Or,
Is that how much it takes?
No, but it helps, right? Like if you didn't have that, you could maybe be as good as you are, but probably not.
Yeah. You gotta love it.
No, I
But
think
you got to be dedicated to it.
you have to have that. I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. You got to have that mamba mentality. Like, I mean, I believe you do.
Well, you don't, but when you have it, you leapfrog so many other players.
I can answer your question. There's one thing I wish I would have done differently because today's junior golfers,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
they're bringing them up. It's better to bring them up more as athletes. You know, let them play football, soccer, baseball. Let them all become. You only have so long to become athletic as a child. Get athletic and then decide what it is you're passionate about. I started Gracie off and as just, you're a golfer and this is what we're going to do. I actually gave you options. You want to play soccer? And she really didn't. But if she would have played basketball or some other sports, she would have been a much better athlete than she is. I don't know if
I don't wish I did.
I don't know if that would have made her a better golfer, but I think it, you know,
Not like seriously, but I think if I would have played a few like other sports, I think that would have been good. You know what I mean?
what has it been though? Because you can't jump very high. You're not fast.
There we go. There we go.
I'll never forget you were at a birthday party once and they blindfolded you to bust a pinata and you're swinging and you're missing. And a guy said to me, he says, she's a world champion golfer. Doesn't look like she has any coordination. If you couldn't hit the pinata.
Oh my God. But that actually brings up a good point. Do your peers at school know how good you are? Does it matter? Do they know like really you're going to be something really special? I mean, you already are, but
I don't know. But I know that like some people will be like, how many schools, you know, were like interested in you? And I'll be like, oh, like fun or something like that. And then
51.
they'll be like, wow.
No, that's 51 D1s.
Yeah, D1s. Yeah.
texting your father.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll always have people be like, I don't know, be like, are you really good at golf?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, yeah. Yes. But yeah.
It's a good answer.
You've always, Adam knows she's always been a humble kid. I mean,
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's wrap it up with one question for each of you. And Gracie, we'll go with you first. Okay. What's your all-time dream in golf?
To be on the LPGA and win a few majors.
A few? Come on.
And
As many as I can.
is there a major in particular that you have your eye on, or is it just
Probably the US Open.
yeah?
But I also really want to play in the Augusta National Women's Am.
How do you get in that one exactly?
politics.
Really?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Okay. Well, wait. Okay, but really though, how do we make that happen? What's the politics involved? Like you got to know someone.
Winning.
Well, they go by rankings also. Yeah, but there's girls that Gracie plays against in the last couple of years that she haven't
never
beat her to go to the Augusta Women's National.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we make that happen?
I have no
You really have no idea. You're that deep into the golf world, and you have no idea how you get this invite to that to the women's am.
But I probably don't want to talk about it here. I don't want to get a controversy going, but it's like anything.
Interesting.
I mean, really, should Lucas Glover have been in the Ryder Cup? I mean, a lot of people, I think he should have.
Yeah.
I mean, he won back to back.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, I get where you're going with
it's
that.
political.
But it's also just a matter of time, right? Right? We're going to see Gracie.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how she
think-
does in college, I guess. If you go out and win,
When I get in college.
I mean, she played in a couple tournaments this year that she could have got. You know, she wins the U.S. Women's Am, you're invited. If she wins the Junior PGA, you're invited.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, but
Okay. All right. And are you no longer on the bag then anymore? Or is that like a temporary when needed?
I think I'll be on the bag for the U.S. Women's Ams unless she finds somebody to replace me, and then that's all I can caddy for.
Yeah.
now.
Just because he knows my game so well.
I do. Yeah, it's just about I do know her game very well. Yeah.
Well, Gracie, you're amazing. I will continue to watch you. I mean, what a treat. But the last question I have for your dad, Sean, when was the last time you beat her? Was she 5?
Oh, well,
Was she 4 years old?
I haven't played golf in 2 years, but I haven't beat her for a long time.
A
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
You know, let your dad win a couple holes out there? No, no.
No, Adam's played with her. She's
Oh no, I know she beats Adam all the time.
no,
so that's
I don't know. Adam's a stick.
You know what? As long as we can keep Adam out there playing, then we're winning that game too.
Yeah. I mean, Gracie did, and you can only do this in golf. When she was 5, she played 9 holes with her 92-year-old great-grandfather. And what other sport can you do that in? So that's what we love about this game.
Yeah. Exactly. And many more years to come. Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Your final year in high school, enjoy it. And then to college. Oh my gosh, you have so much. I can't wait to watch.
Excited.
Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Adam.
us.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Adam, too.